Appreciate you being here. Really proud of our guys. Improving in several areas and still having several areas to work on to get better. Appreciative of the fans that came out. Homecoming, good to see a lot of alumni there, all different sports, all different, fields of, out there in the world, in the working world, coming back and supporting our guys and being around. So, and then looking forward to a great challenge and a great opportunity this week as we travel to Seattle to play Washington. Questions, please.
And we'll start with James Carpio from the Oregonian.
Mario, I just wanted to update on Steve Stevens, Damon David, Jordan Happel, and Dante Manning.
Manning is good. You didn't ask about Forsyth, but Forsyth is good. Practice yesterday, full go. Jackson Powers Johnson is still day to day. Jordan Happel is full go. Steve Stevens is being reevaluated today. He's got a chance. You saw he hyperextended on film, but looks like he has a chance. And Damon David is also good to go.
AJ Jacobson, Rivals.
Coach, you kind of alluded to this in your opening, but the team played pretty well against Colorado, but there's a lot left available that they can get better at. What are the areas that you kind of identified you'd like to focus on and improve over the next few weeks here?
Well, I think the kicking game, we saw we had some coverage issues right there. I mean, they have a really good player. Brendan Rice is a great returner, a great receiver as well. And he certainly he made some really good plays, and it's about discipline. It's about physicality at the point of attack. Some things that we really had excelled in earlier in the season did not show up. Ball placement's also part of that. Some of the things on the second quarter on defense we'd like to improve as well. Limit explosive plays, communication, making sure that whether you're on the second team or third team, when you're in there, your level of preparation needs to show up. So we got to do a better job as coaches preparing everybody across the board to play better. First down offense was really good. Third down had improved. There's a lot, and I could go on and on about all the things we need to improve upon, but the list that we have put together is a priority list, and those are things we attack right away the moment we get in the building. Yesterday on Sunday, the day after the game, and it carries over till today and the rest of the week.
Antoine Staley, register guard.
Hey, Coach. You're obviously entering a rivalry game. Just talk about just what are you telling your players this week as in preparing for Washington, especially considering they didn't play this opponent a year ago.
Well, I think the intensity of rivalry games take care of themselves. The important part is making sure that that we're investing in our preparation, practice, the way that we do everything, right? We have a 1-0 approach and a mentality for everything we do. And our plan is to stay the course and just improve our 1-0 every single week, our 1-0 processes, I should say, every single week. That's what works for us. And that's what we're focused on.
Matt Bream, 247 Sports.
Yeah, Brian Cardwell had a really good game and feels like his reps the last couple of weeks have really gone up. Just your thoughts on just his improvement and just where you feel like he was really good on his runs last week against Colorado.
Well, the stuff that had been showing up in practice showed up in the game. Really patient. He understands how to set up his runs, how to read his blocks. He understands the intent of the play, what we're trying to do and how we're trying to do it, why we're doing it that way. He understands 2-man, 3-man, 4-man surface, backside, front side, gap scheme, zone schemes. He gets it. He really does. And then he also improved a ton in his understanding of protections, his understanding of his responsibilities in the passing game. And the moment was not too big for him. Ball security was fairly good. We always work on that. It needs to get better all the time. And he ran with physicality, there was contact plus 2 or 3 yards. And it was difficult for the first guy to get him down. So really positive day for him. Big future for him here at Oregon.
Eric Scopel, 247 Sports.
We've talked to Coach a lot about just the offensive line and how well it's played the last couple of weeks. I wanted to ask you specifically about TJ Bass making the move to left tackle. I know that's not an easy position to play, but I don't want to say he's made it look easy to us, at least. What's kind of gone into that and kind of what progress have you seen there? And how has that maybe freed you up to rotate other players around comfortably with him occupying that spot so well?
Yeah, the offensive line here, we like to, think we do some really neat things to develop our guys. And we also look for matchups and we look for combinations. We don't disclose which is what or why we do certain things like that. But, you really want to find like what the chemistry, the synergy of your offensive line, how it works best when you're running a particular scheme. And TJ has been outstanding all year long. I credit Stephen Jones, who has really bounced around from position to position and has excelled at a really high level. One of our best players this last game. George Dawson, Ryan Walk has jumped all over Salah. Salah had to attend to a family issue on Tuesday and wasn't able to be here for practice and was back immediately. And just took care of business and played a really good football game. So credit to a guy like him who was able to handle, everything he needed to be successful in this game. So again, Coach Mirabal, he's the best in the country at doing that. We're not even anywhere close to being where we want to be or need to be, which is good. And our players acknowledge that. So we just got to get back to work. We just got to get better.
Alvaro Torres, end zoners.
Hi, Coach Cristobal. You have one of the best conversion rates on a third down in the FBS, but you will be facing the best third defense you've faced all season. How big of a difference of a barometer game will this be, and what would you say are the main challenges they pose?
Well, they got great players. They have a great scheme. They play hard, very physical, tough. They cover really well. They put pressure on the quarterback. They collapse the pocket from the inside. Their edges are really explosive and powerful. So they present a lot of challenges and they get you in difficult third down situations. Your success rate in 3 to 5 is a lot better than it is in 7 to 10. And typically a lot of times they have opponents in 7 and 10 plus. So credit to them for just playing really, really good defense, particularly third down defense. And we're looking forward to the opportunity.
James.
Mario, when CJ went down, you'd said that it was really Travis's time. It had been his time before, but this was really his opportunity. In October, he averages over 21 touches a game and 136 yards, is one of only 2 players in the FBS to have the breakdown of receiving and rushing that he did in the month. Can you speak to just how he's actually delivered for you in this past month? And in terms of the receiving component of things beyond his skill set, do you think that actually helps take away some of the volume of hits that he would be taking ordinarily if those were all carries?
He is as valuable of a player as there is in the entire country for us. Guy's the heart and soul of our team, tremendous leader. And, those are big numbers and you can expect probably more because he's capable, he's ready, he's eager for it. And for our team to get better, guys like him will continue and have to continue playing at a high level. But he prepares for it. I mean, his pride and preparation, his ownership in the way he gets ready for each and every week, how he takes care of his body, how he prepares his mind, how he is always affecting in a positive way his teammates and their preparation as well. All that stuff comes into play in a big time way, particularly here as we enter, another challenging opportunity for us this Saturday.
AJ.
Coach, we don't talk about him very much, but Trevin May has been getting like 20 snaps a game, grading out pretty well as far as I can tell. What's your guys' evaluation of Trevin and his contributions at this point?
Yeah, he's grown so much. I mean, you're talking about a guy that, everybody has their time. Some guys right away, they set foot on campus and they're able to get it. Other guys have to develop, and it doesn't matter. As long as you're on track and you finally, boom, you hit your stride and you go and you become, a contributor to the football team. It's certainly a big moment, and Trevin has reached that this year. He's worked relentlessly on his body, his physicality. Just in the weight room, he's been just off the charts. He's 260 plus pounds, very strong, heavy-handed, understands the game really well. I mean, always just digging into ways to try to improve. And he has made an impact since the beginning of the season. I mean, you've seen him from the times we were up in Columbus all the way to, most recently. He's always around the football. He sets the edges really well. Really, really smart. Seldomly does he ever have a mental bust. So really proud of him. And that's a guy that's just now scratching the surface. Like, it's all upside for him going forward. So really excited for Trevor.
Antoine.
Obviously, the college football playoff rankings come out on Tuesday. I know you talk about the 1-0 process and blocking all the mental things out, extra things out. Just how important is that moving forward, especially trying to finish out strong the rest of the season?
Well, I think there's always going to be attention. There's going to be media. There's going to be hype, projections out there nonstop. And I think what you do is you take a step back and you make sure that you acknowledge that the players they'll come across that, they'll acknowledge that. And then you make it as simple as, if you don't take care of your business on a day-by-day basis and then a week-by-week basis, what does it matter? There will be no significance for anybody that doesn't focus on what they're supposed to take care of. In college football, every single week is a playoff week. It is. And I think that mentality and being focused on the main thing, one step at a time, has to be the course. That's a course that works for us. That's what we'll continue to do. If we ever feel that there's something in the way interfering with that, we'll snap ourselves back into it.
Matt,
Just your thoughts, Mario, on the matchups, both sides of the ball, the line of scrimmage. They've got some probably second, I guess some guys will play at the next level as well. You guys do too. Just that matchup and just the importance of staying on schedule.
Sure. Well, no, there'll be a lot of physical play. Certainly the line of scrimmage is every single year when these two teams get together. There's lots of great players on both sides, on both teams. Lots of respect, very competitive, tremendously intense, like it should be. The home crowds always do a great job, just bring a lot of energy and juice to this football game. It's what college football is all about. And all that stuff, again, is stuff that's on the side and the outside. It's going to be about making sure that the preparation, the focus, the attention to detail, the level of intensity as it relates to preparation is where all the focus has got to be on. And again, the great football team, lots of great players. Looking forward to the opportunity.
Aaron Heisen, the Daily Emerald.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about how like Byron Cardwell and Travis Dye maybe, present different difficulties for the defense and kind of how they create a 1-2 punch for your offense now?
Well, we think, a guy like Seven McGee and Trey Benson they're going to fix into that rotation as well. Those guys they're really good football players. They're different running styles, but they both can be physical. They both have explosive power. They both can make you miss, and they can both take it to the house. So they're good receivers out of the backfield as well, good in protection. So you're not limited when they're in the game. Your entire playbook is open, and you can do what you need to do as it relates to what you feel can be successful, help you be successful. So it's really good football players that are, again, make us, give us a chance every week to be successful.
Eric.
Coach, just the last couple weeks, seems like you guys have done a good job of drawing off sides penalties on the opposing defense. I'm not going to ask you everything that goes into that, but what kind of are some of the, things that help you draw some of those penalties and just the benefit that has on a drive? Because Anthony's had some success throwing it on those, and obviously the 5 yards is helpful regardless.
Yeah, I don't think it's us. I think it's more, the other side. And I think it's been just the other side, just, maybe lost their focus for a little bit, but I don't think it's anything that we're doing. We're not doing anything really different. So credit to our offensive line hanging in there while the other side jumped, got a couple of free plays, but I don't think it's anything, earth shattering.
James.
You're certainly quite familiar with a lot of their skill players on offense. Mario, the guys who are really carrying them, McGrew and Bynum and Otten. I know it's a different looking offense compared to the last time you played them, certainly, and you were preparing for them last year, but what makes them in particular, McGrew is so experienced at running back, or Otten and Bynum, again, guys who've been around for a long time, just such useful weapons for them on offense.
Yeah, experienced eyes. I mean, they've played a ton of football. They play against one of the top defenses in the country every single day in practice. There's a lot of value in that, so physicality is also a big part of when you develop a really good offense. And I think, when you watch them play, I know they ran for well over 200 yards this past game, but when games have been on the line, their quarterback and their receivers have stepped up and have moved the ball with ease, making explosive plays on numerous opponents. So they got a lot of balance in their offense. They do a great job with formations. They line up and with loaded sets and can pound the ball and get downhill and get you with play action, but their tight ends can stretch the field. They can block you and own the C gap, get on the perimeter, toss the ball out there and some of their bunch stuff. I mean, they do a lot. There's a lot to prepare for, and they execute at a really high level. So great challenge for an opportunity for our defense.
Back at you, James.
Defensively, Mario, I realize he's barely shown up in the box score, but ZTF is obviously one of the better edge rushers. I know he's gotten back the last couple of games with Bowman out in particular. They've obviously had some injuries in the front seven, yet their defensive statistics and passing have still been superb the whole time, and they have some good corners. what do you see from ZTF in particular, and also in their ability to stop the passing game so well?
Yeah, he's back to form. I mean, he's one of the best players in the country. Explosive power, great get off, heavy-handed, very elusive as well. Great hands. I mean, technically and fundamentally, just does a lot of stuff that presents issues for offensive linemen, not just in the passing game. You know, people sometimes focus on that all the time. Yeah, he's setting edges in the run game. I mean, he's collapsing pockets, beating guys with speed, going speed of power, a lot of power, big, long, strong. Just he's a game wrecker, you know, as well as your interior defensive linemen. I mean, they're guys up front, you know, 330-pound plus guys that live in the backfield, you know, destroy the A gaps and cause things to bounce, you know, to support players that come up and hit you and make some tackles for negative plays. So all in all, just an excellent defense.
Jerry Thompson, Ducks Illustrated.
Yeah, Coach, Camden Lewis has done well on the PATs and the field goals. Seems to be a little inconsistent on the kickoffs. He and Henry still competing every week, or is that something that he's still beating Henry on the kickoff?
Yes, sir. You know, he certainly hasn't been up to the standard the past couple of weeks. He still currently leads that. But we feel like the issue is something that's very correctable. He's been working on it hard, and we expect better results. We need to have better results there.
James.
Brian Addison got in quite a bit and had his most production, Mario, but also seemed to be targeted quite a bit once he was in there, and Nolan as well. When you talk about getting some of these safeties back, what you see from Brian in a productive spot, and also we haven't really ever gotten into it with you, but just to speak to what's been a very challenging last year, but really a very long time for that young man in general off the field, but like on the field, what he did and the needs that you have at safety to make some corrections there.
Yeah, he's grown a lot. He had some really good moments in the game, some other ones that, you know, I'm sure he wants back. We'd like to have back, and we're coaching him. We're coaching him hard. He's a really talented guy, and when he's on point, he has been really, really good. We think now have an entire week with him to hone in, because we had him swinging from a couple different positions to lock in on one position and then serve as a sub in another one. I think you're going to see a better version of him, but got a lot of faith in him because in practice, he's one of those guys that really pops. He's got some really unique range, length, athletic ability, great hands, great balance and body control, and he makes contested catches. He used to do so as a wide receiver. So his eye discipline is improving. We got lost a couple times with it this past Saturday. I think we've got to correct it, and I think you'll see a really good version of BA this week.
Last question, Eric.
Coach, I was just going to ask you to address Johnny Johnson's absence for the first half at Washington, just the challenges that may present one of your most veteran players, obviously in a tough environment.
No doubt, you know, he's a guy that, you know, I wish these rules were a little bit different, and don't have to agree with them, but have to abide by them. John will be ready to go second half. First half, we got guys that have been repping, have been prepping. Johnny's going to help and assist in that role to make sure those guys are ready, and he should be popping at the seam. So when the second half kickoff is on, that he's ready to roll. Won't have to come out of the game. He'll be well rested.